The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
What's up?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to thy show.
Thy RA Nation. We got the horns already.
Mr. Dale Robinson in the house. What's going on, everybody? So it's a Monday, and it's August 9th already, mofos. Can you believe it?
The time passes by so quickly. When I was younger, in my 16, 17 years of age, I was like, oh my gosh.
I mean, last year?
Time's going to go like so slow. And now it's like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah, like the big thing for me as I get older, like time flies, and I have my kids to remind me of just how things are going. And like went to the lake today, man, and it's like a step back in time because your cell phone stops working, like everything electronic just stops working at a certain point. And I just being there was like, wow, this is so nice to just chill. Like no social media, no people, just some birds, a couple squirrels, and the raccoon that wants to steal my lunch, or the bear that wants my picnic basket. It's great.
It is great to be in nature, definitely.
How you been, girl? How you been?
I've been amazing. I've been busy, though. I've got like several things happening at once, keeping multiple things on track, but different levels, reptiles and radio. I mean, how do you correlate that shit?
I don't know. I saw the turtle on your dashboard the other day. That was sweet. I was like, not everybody has a tortoise on there. A legit one too, like huge umbrella shell, like awesome, man.
So I gotta tell you tonight, I got a little bit of allergy thing because we acquired a couple of bunnies. The big bunnies with the big long ears are like 40-pound bunnies. And also some cute little hedgehogs, an albino one. And I can't figure out which one of those has been creating some allergy issues with me. But, my eyes water. And
so we need to pick an animal from your guys's, from you and the man's business. And we need to like maybe narrow it down to like 4. And we need to vote because we need a mascot. So we should pick like 4 different like species, whatever, like lizard, hedgehog, whatever, turtle, and find a
mascot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What do you guys think? Do you guys recommend a mascot?
Yeah.
The RA Nation podcast group?
I mean, like you should definitely get with Kirk and see what we can come up with, man, and like poll it out and do it. Like, let's do this, man.
I know, yeah. I mean, they're one of the biggest sponsors for us for RA Nation. Standout Serpents is also opening up a new location, a storefront. So that's going to happen in the next month. So you'll be able to go and look at all these exotic pets and reptiles, snakes, tarantulas, centipedes. Don't get me started on the centipedes.
We may end up opening ourselves up on a can because honestly, if I think about it, like he might get more popular or she might get more popular than us. And then they're going to want a camera feed in there so they can check in on her and all that craziness. Like, it'd be one hell of a merch line, though. I don't know. Pretty cool.
We got some people willing to help us out with.
I'm too turtly for our RA Nation.
Turtle, turtle.
You're right. Yes.
Oh, I know it.
All right. So we got a killer show tonight, man. We got a host of mofos up in here this evening. What's going on, Greg, Dale, Mike? By the way, shout out to Mr. Mike Bates Music, by the way. He is working with us cohesively as a unit and coming up with some cool shit that I'm not going to talk about right now because I said meow. You know, so got that coming for you. But tonight we got Mr. Mike Colletti in the house. This is going to be fun. Buckle up, babies. But before we get into that, my girl over here, there we go, over here. I got to get better than that. I can do better than that.
Yeah.
She wants to discuss some branding things. So let's do this.
Yeah, we're going to start focusing on more of a tip per week. Everybody loves tips and nuggets that they can take home and either, water, flour, nourish, whatever they want to do with it, or they can throw it in the garbage can. I don't care what you do with it, but I hope it helps. That's all that matters.
Roxy, you said tips, right? Not
tips.
okay.
Oh.
I just want to make sure, dudes at home.
Tips, nuggets of information that you can benefit from. And yes, so we're going to talk about a little bit of branding tonight. So, Antman, I'm going to let you start off with this and your perspective of branding. What do you got to say?
So here's the thing. A lot of people, come up with this misconceptions of what they think branding should be. And I'm going to be completely frank with you because this is just how I do. You guys know from Ant-Man Versus, I'm pretty straightforward. The bottom line is, man, is that too many of y'all sit around with your friends drinking beer, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, coming up with a branding plan. And by the end of the night, you guys are so hammered that what do you think is on a bar napkin is the best plausible plan to do. And in certain situations, that's great. Yeah, great. Awesome. Good ideas come on cheap ass bar napkins. That's what I was told way back in the day. And I absolutely agree. But when you start not thinking through and thinking that all you need to do is come up with that idea on a napkin and it's gold. Woo! No.
You have to get more detail oriented with this.
And if you're a member, and I'm not going to go through all the craziness with you right now, but I did make a post, and this is according to Forbes magazine. Okay. And this typically, like the branding identity, top 5 questions to ask according to Forbes magazine. I'll give you the top 5. There was actually 20 in there, but instead of posting all of those in the chat, most of the time you mofos don't read, just click on a link. Be honest. You guys see a link and you scroll by it. So this time I threw that stuff in there just in case you happen to see that knowledge. But we'll read the questions and I'll let you do your homework. The first one is, who is your ideal customer? That can apply even if you're a band, because your customer is going to be the person who's buying your merch. And honestly, your ideal customer could be that venue, because certain t-shirts, certain merch may not be acceptable at that venue. So you have to make sure that what you bring in is ideal to where you are. Number 2, what pain points do you solve? The customers don't start looking for your company because their lives are perfect. You have to remember that. The third one, what kind of personality do you have? Brand personality is defined as a human set of characteristics that are connected to the brand. So you have to ask yourself, exactly what is that?
What represents you?
Yeah, so for example, I don't normally do this. My consulting, I normally have to sit down with somebody. But example, MFP. Okay, so music family shows. I knew early on what I wanted to showcase, and personal traits. You look at who you are, what you want to represent, and you have to make sure that is a mirror image of your brand, and it's more relatable that way. If you run out and just get a robot to run your stuff, eventually 500 posts, 1,000 posts, whatever in on that, somebody's going to catch you and be like, hey, that's a robot posting. Hey, that's a, it's great to use those services, but use them smart. Don't just use them because they're there.
There you
That's
go.
the problem, And number 4, what is your competition as a band? What's your competition? Yeah, there's 4 bands on a bill. Great. Awesome. You got that far. I'm proud of you. But here's the other thing. Those 4 bands are selling. Those other 3 bands are selling merch too. So it's kind of a competition. Like, who's going to walk out? You have to look at that as a business. This is a business. And yes, we're all friends. But if you're selling merch, try to set yourself apart from your competition. That's the difference between getting to the next town on some gas money and only having enough for a sandwich.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing I've learned with branding is you have to set yourself apart. And when you go down into the Scientology of things, color can even be an intimate factor. Colors, red can be a warning or danger sign. So
I ain't afraid to talk about it, Roxy, honestly. So we had some old, I was going through the Antman archives, man, and I have a file of endless images of everything from the day one that I first ever started anything ever.
Trial and error.
And so halfway through, I realized what was cool then isn't gonna fit now. So I've had to adapt and change all my stuff. And it's funny because off air, me and Roxy stay pretty tight in conversation about the show and what we're gonna do with the group. And I was just like, hey, look what I found. And I sent it to her. She's like, yeah, no. I'm like, I understand why, but just look at what I was doing before everything happened. Look where this was at. And she's like, man, go ahead, Roxy, go ahead. Come on.
Adaptability is the most important factor. And you got to be able to change with the times. And because you might be stubborn in your mindset and think that this is what you want or what is going to sell, might not be the factor. So you need to research, you need to do your homework, and you need to figure out where things are going and how you can adapt to them, because it might not, I'm not being mean, but in your mindset, it might not be the factor. So research.
And I'll leave you with this before we bring Mike in. The number 5 on there, I think the 5th one is, I think, to me, the most crucial. How do you make your clients feel? How do you make your fans feel? How do you make the people that you interact with feel? And how do you think not interacting with your fans makes them feel?
So branding is like making a song. You making a song, you have an intention to make somebody feel something, and you have emotion in that, and you have levels of music that will either upgrade some emotion and downgrade some another emotion. Branding is like that as well. You have to make those people feel that and understand it and relate to it. So branding is super important with this. And that's what we got today as our tip of the day of the week. And branding is super important.
Yeah. Mr. Mike Colletti in the house.
So yeah, speaking of Mike Colletti, let's bring him in, because I know he's got a lot to say about branding, right?
Oh yeah, he's about to bring it. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so before I bring in him, I want you to all know that Mike Colletti is super phenomenal. He has done so many things in so many retrospects. He's got New Age Connect. He has the REEL FRNDS Media. He's in the band Atimera, which is going to be at the Incarceration Festival. I'm wearing the shirt, but you can't see it. He also does a TORG events. So we're going to hear all about him and what he has to say and his perspective, because he's got some really insightful things for you guys, really helpful tips.
He's straight up, so
straight up fella.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yep. So here we represent you, Mike.
What's up, buddy?
Hey.
You like that? Facts
guys
don't care
are
about your feelings.
Yeah. You guys are setting me up to be this big person. Hey.
You kind of are. You got a lot going on, don't you?
I do. I'm a very busy guy.
You are.
Yeah, it's fun though. I keep my hands busy, keeps my mind free.
How do you keep your hands busy? What all things you got going on right now?
So, it's quite a few. All right, so let's go down the list. For New Age Connect, I am a talent buyer. I also do everything I can to help facilitate musicians and support roles in the music industry to help get connected with one another. REEL FRNDS Media, I am a cinematographer. I'm also a cameraman. I help plan the shots and so on. I do other things as well as far as storyboarding goes. Atimera, I play guitar. I also do a lot of the management end on that. I run the socials for the most part. Everyone in the band usually has a specified goal. We'll talk about that later. In addition to that, the thing that's really driving me nuts right now is actually my gaming convention, TORG Gaming Expo. I am the event organizer. I do pretty much all of the graphics. I also do graphics for MC lyric videos. Sorry, I know I'm like blowing through them really quick. But
Look what he has to offer. So you did graphics for this one as well.
yeah, I do graphics for New Age Connect as well. I do all the flyers, lyric videos, music videos, stuff like that. I essentially, all of my talents a lot of the times revolve around things that I've noticed my band has needed. I know everyone doesn't really have the ability to do this a lot of the times, but for instance, my band needed lyric videos, so I learned how to do it. We needed graphic work done, we needed flyers, I learned how to do it. A lot of the stuff that I do and have learned over the years is just because my motto is that if I don't know how to do something, I learn. I love to learn, and there are so many resources online for me to be able to do that it's helped me be essential in everything that I have my hand in. That way I'm not ever at a point in which I'm not capable or not able, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So with everybody in the band at that point of what you said, it's good for somebody to have designated roles, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What they're best at.
Well, I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
What they're best at,
Yeah.
They might be better at the social media networking. They might be better at a marketing strategy. Everybody has certain roles in this band,
I'll give you a perfect example. I think I'm 33. I can't remember how old I am. But
I don't keep track either.
So for instance, I run our Facebook and I help with the Instagram. But the Instagram, the TikTok and stuff like that, I have to leave to the younger members of my group because I have no idea how that stuff operates. I'm trying to learn how to properly market in those avenues. I'm just not to the level yet because I don't actively use it. So I have to kind of outsource to the people I trust that are more frequent in those applications to make sure that when we're on those platforms, we're getting the best out of it. But that comes down to people within the band have multiple roles. I mean, there isn't one person in Atimera that isn't inherently good at something, which is great because it helps us get through any obstacle. It also kind of helps us constantly push forward and grow. I mean, we've grown substantially in the last 2 years for sure.
You have. And before we proceed with that, let's go ahead and discuss Atimera and what you have met with this year, with even after COVID. What have the accomplishments that you have nailed?
Sure. So with COVID, we essentially took that entire year. Now, granted, we had member changes, and that's a given. Anybody that's watching that's been in the band knows you go through
peacock
members.
fly. Sorry.
Yeah,
Every time
that's a great song.
I sing it out loud. Like I had to play it repeat on my show 9 times one night because everybody was like, "Play it, play it, play it." Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, we like to let our fans name our song, but yeah, we'll talk more on that too when we go into
I'm
branding.
sorry.
But
I saw it and I was like, ah!
so I mean, during the pandemic, which I'm hoping everyone did, not just musicians, we took the time to build. We wrote 6 new songs. We actually just finally got one back. We had to wait for the studio that we were going through to book because he was overbooked, because there are, you may not see it, but a lot of musicians in the studio right now. So I would expect a lot of new music here in the next 4 or 5 months in regards to new bands. A lot of them aren't playing shows, but they're still active. You may just not know because they may not be properly utilizing their socials and so on.
Everyone needs to put that in their brain. Keep an eye out on that.
Yep. Yeah, business is booming right now for producers, studios. It's actually right now we have another single we want to record and we can't find time to book it because everybody's booked. So it's a good sign, and shows are coming back.
Would you like to know what my favorite part of after COVID has been with the music industry? My favorite part has been that the musicians and the bands have control. They have more control than they ever have in the music industry. So that's something I want everybody to remember and utilize. You have control.
My favorite thing is the fact that finally, for once, as a fan, I can hold musicians and artists and bands accountable for not having new content and having so much time to create it, and decided, well, I think it's cool that I can come in here and charge you $10 at the door and play 5-year-old music. After a pandemic, after I've been at home on the couch dreaming about this moment, here you are playing 5 years ago music. Like, yeah, I'm out. See ya. Get my money somewhere else.
Yeah.
You'll notice too. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of changes.
Right.
I'm excited about it, really.
I'm saying that there is a lot of musicians in the studio as well, but at the same time, there's a lot of bands that didn't make it through, which is understandable. I mean, COVID, for instance, we ended up losing one of our vocalists because of COVID. COVID lost his job, wasn't able to find another one, and ended up having to move out of state. So there's a lot of bands that just maybe have already been a startup, COVID hit, and just didn't make it through. You know, so there's so many things. But the bands that are actively pushing through this and have been building, and there's one band, for instance, that's a perfect example of this. They're probably not watching this, but a band called Undergrads. Undergrads, through that year, went through a transformation. I got to hear a sneak peek of their new music, and it's completely different than anything they've ever written. And I'm super excited for it. And they're a perfect example of a band pushing through it and taking the right steps to just say, you know, screw it, we're not going to bottleneck ourselves in a certain genre. They grew as musicians. They got the perfect lineup, and I'm excited to what comes from it.
Nice. I tell everybody to be like water. You might have a trickle off stream down the line. You might have some rough spots. You might have some really slow, shallow points, but you need to be like water and adapt. Adaptability is a huge factor in today's music scene. And if you can't bring that in to what you got going on, you don't have a strong leg to stand on.
It's very true. And musicians are the most personable, outrageous, emotional people you will ever. I mean, creatives in general. Yeah. You know, I'll tell you from experience. I mean, musicians are hard to work with. We all know that, especially when it comes to music, because everyone has their pinpoint of what they want to do and what they want to do out of music, and it's their ability to adapt is what really makes it to where you can keep them in the band or not be able to work with them, among other things. But yeah, adapting is key.
Don't get me started on lead singers. No, I'm just kidding. I got a bunch of lead singers I love. I love all the guys I work with, but like I have no problem looking at one of them and being like, listen, here's the Snickers. Like we're gonna get through this. It's okay. Go be Betty White for a minute. We'll get through this.
Right.
Hangry.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's break down a little bit of what you do. Let's start out with New Age Connections. What do you do exactly with this, with New Age Connections?
Sure. So the original thought process, this was prior to COVID. The whole point that we actually established New Age Connect is because we felt that there wasn't enough of a presence for locals to help them succeed. During that time, I mean, if you were in the music scene for the past 10 years, you know that there have been really toxic / like cliquey things going on in Columbus.
It's high school, Mike. It's high
Yeah.
school, bro.
It is, but like we kind of realized that a lot of those cliques and a lot of those attitudes and that just creative mindset and creative personalities was causing people to not really, they were stunting themselves, or they weren't able to get to that next level because they were too focused on drama. So we started thinking, how can we get education? How can we get these resources in front of their face and not really give them an option? Because if you think about it, if you're a musician, most of the time, like you said earlier, that if it's just a link, you know, people aren't going to click on it. I can tell you from our analytics off of our Facebook page that anytime we posted a link that has helpful information, nobody wants anything to do with it. But if I book you on a show and I put those resources in your face and make you interact with other individuals, you know, you're going to actually get something out of it. Your attention span is there. I don't have to worry about you not taking the time to actually educate yourself when you can have that photographer in front of you that can explain to you the importance of having good photos, good promos, good live shots, headshots, you know, playthroughs, videography, stuff like that. They're in your face and they're actually telling you, because at that point you can't really ignore it. It's even with, so with that, knowing that, that's why we started booking the shows and we started asking bands, who do you want to network with? You know, we do our best to bring 2 out-of-town bands that want to network into Columbus, and then we ask them, who do you want to network with? And then we ask the Columbus bands, who do you want to network with? And we build the shows around this. For instance, the Cotter show that's on 9/3, every single one of those bands on that bill before we actually booked it have not played together before. And they all had themselves listed in a form that we had them fill out that they wanted to network with one another. So they will absolutely get the best experience out of this. In addition to that, on this form, they listed whether they are interested in photography, videography, press release, and stuff like that. And we are inviting those individuals to come and network with them an hour prior and an hour after. That way they can actually get experience with the individuals that are well integrated in the scene, that do professional work, and will help get them to that next level. Because I cannot stress to you how many bands that have just, they sound great, there's so much talent, but if your logo is Microsoft Paint, or if you're a cell phone picture, you know, away from a promo, I can't take you serious. You know, so we had to get those resources in front of them. It's more of a physical thing. There are other, I believe Columbus Music Commission does it to where you can come in and sit down and kind of hear a speaker talk and stuff like that. I've come to realize that that's not for everyone. So we're the alternative.
Yeah, so there's a lot of perspective to take into play here, and you got to be very versatile in this industry. You have to know a little bit about everything, and if you know a lot about everything, you're going to do great. So more power to you if you want to learn, grow, and succeed. And with the networking thing is, yes, you're definitely feeling that occupancy of this is what you got going on in this area. And if you find somebody to fill in that occupancy somewhere else, then you're filling that area. So why not keep growing? If that's what your goal is, keep at it and learn to be versatile.
Right. I mean, that's success.
It is.
I mean, a big thing we do as well that's super important to us is we do ticket sales, and there's a reason why. It always weirded me out when I would see individuals kind of act like ticket sales are the devil. But here's the thing. When I give you a ticket to sell, that forces you to create a connection with a potential fan. Say you have an individual that you posted about the show, they're like, this looks interesting, you've made a connection. Now with that individual, you sell that person a ticket, they're coming to see your set or they're coming to see someone else. They may be a bystander of your set and you have a potential fan. It forces you to talk and network with potential fans and organically grow your fan base. That's something you absolutely will not get if you're pushing online sales and your drive to do so is diminished.
Yeah, and organic growth is definitely important as well, because
Is
there's more intimacy in developing a relationship with somebody one-on-one than there is online with a response that can be led as negative or positive, because we never know how text is taken. But when we're together and we're creating that organic response with each other, it's definitely valuable.
Yep. When it comes to, especially when it comes to content. Actually, you know what? I was curious if Anthony, if you could actually go and read through those 5 points that you gave, I could really chime in on that.
Yeah, do this.
You don't have to give the description because I remember exactly what you said, but I had good talking points on each.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You ready? You want me to start
Sure.
top to bottom or bottom to top? What do you want?
Whichever works.
All right, cool. We'll start off with number 1. Who's your ideal customer?
Okay, so to give a perfect example of that, in regards to using my band as an example, we knew the demographic we were playing to when we went to play the Barnyard Bash 2 days ago, last Saturday. We knew the demographic, and that's why we ended up playing a cover that demographic would enjoy. I mean, we played Limp Bizkit break stuff, so we specifically tailored towards that. In regards to who is your customer as well, when it comes to your merch, you have to consider a couple things in regards to your demographic. What sizes are you actually going to prepare and have ready? Are you going to do online sales for people who are at risk or can't make it to your shows? Are you going with the seasons? Are you selling tank tops when it's hot as hell out? Or are you selling, these sweaters that are super thick but nobody can wear them? And in addition to that, are you giving people incentive to actually buy these? All right, what else you got?
The second one is, what pain points do you solve?
Okay, so that one, I'm trying to kind of link this as far as like a musician, because I know a lot of the times our product is your music. But when it comes to your product and your music, a lot of that comes down to genre. That's, I would say in regards to that, what mood does your album bring? What type of feeling are you trying to give in your succession of music? For instance, if you're doing spoken word or if you're doing hardcore, what message do you have behind your music? Does it make sense and is it relatable?
So that goes in with number 3, with what kind of personality do you have? Because it's a representation.
So, personality, I'm really big on that. If you ever follow my Facebook, a lot of the times I don't call out any specific band. It's just usually if I see something specific, like over multiple bands that almost seem robotic. It does drive me nuts as a listener or as a fan. The thing is if you look at my band's profile, we have a personality that actually lines up in our collective personality within the band. Everything we do, I mean, during band practice, we're having Nerf wars in the basement, you know? So, like, we are super silly guys. We don't take ourselves too serious, but at the same time, we are serious, if that makes sense. And we try to relay that through our band page. The way we talk, the way we phrase, the way we interact with our fans and our comments, it all has to do with personality. You know, it's in regards to the way we post. We don't have anything cookie cutter. It's all as if the band is your friend. But that doesn't work for everybody. It all comes down to, what are you trying to portray? Are you guys serious? Do you want to always come off serious? Do you want to have a specific personality, and who is it tailored to? And what is your overall like goal with that personality? Because you have to consider too that when it comes to industry, either they want super serious or they want, you know, what are they called? Eskimo cowboy style sort of, you know, personalities, because they don't want anything in between, because anything in between doesn't sell. It doesn't catch your eye. You know, they say, like, for instance, in a picture in photography, you're either looking at the most focused or you're looking at the most well-lit area in a picture, even though that may not be the subject. That needs to be your personality. Your personality needs to be that people need to focus on. And if it's something that's just dull, no one's really going to take the time to engage with you or interact with you, because you're a bot. And nobody wants to talk to a bot. Right.
Yeah, who you're targeting, really, yeah. And with a relativity to it.
Well, and when it comes to commenting and just having a personality too, a lot of the times you don't actually have to target. You can, those individuals that enjoy your personality or the personality or persona that you created for your band will migrate towards you, and they will always interact with you. And those people that always interact with you will drive your engagement, boost your algorithm, and get you in front of more individuals that enjoy that style of commentary, enjoy that style of engagement, because it's not going to be for everybody. The way that Atimera acts with our fans and how we just act in general or act in stage, it's not going to be for everybody. But the more people that we have engaged and the more people that kind of interact with our personality that we molded will get us into the hands of potential more fans, because they're actually engaging.
I feel like it can go two ways, because even if somebody doesn't like your show per se, or like you as a band, your name, your band is going to be in their mouth one way or like they're going to get to the back and be like, "Whoa, did you see him jump off that stack? Or did you see how he bent over in that guitar riff?" Like, they may not like the music, but you know, the one thing I love about watching a band, watching a lyric video or a music video, is I love going to watch them live so I can see if they act just as nutty as they did in their music video on stage. Because if they can rock me like that, I'm buying a shirt. I'm getting a CD. I don't care. Like, I'm rocking that, you know? And I feel like Atimera has found a way to
impact.
Yeah, like you I don't know. You're stirring the right pot, man. They want the brownie, you know? They want the brownies.
Well, the same way we act on our Facebook is how we act in person, which I said it's pivotal. And once again, this may not work for every band, but if you think when you get your guys together, and this even has to go with like your business, even if it's a small business and stuff like that, when you get your people together, you know, think like, if we were all one person, how would we act? You know, and then if you kind of take that personality and mold it into what you want your socials to be, it will so easily translate into every avenue. For instance, like my band, the way we act on our socials is exactly how we act on stage, and it's how we act if you come and talk to us in the merch booth. You know, you get consistency. Like we're not acting like we're someone else. We're not faking it till we make it. We're us until we make it, you know? So that's a big point to me. It may not be to everyone, but I think it's something that your band, your business should absolutely try, and just, instead of giving a novel for a status on your Facebook, like sometimes put a TLDR, you know, put paraphrase, you know, because you have to consider attention spans are at most 12 seconds. And if they can't read through what you got in 12 seconds, you lost them. They're not coming back. They're not engaging.
That's exactly why I posted it the way I posted it in the group,
Right.
because I wanted an opportunity for everybody that comes to watch the show to be like, oh, he tricked me. I just wanted to make a point.
That's what we have to do. Listen, I'll tell you from right now, when it comes to my gaming expo, there's a lot of things. For instance, I mean, we sold 86 VIPs in less than 3 weeks. And the way I was able to do that is because I incentivized the individuals, or the fans and everyone of the actual convention, gave them a sense of urgency, because there really was. We only had 150. And through my graphics, the way I kept posting about it, kept drawing attention, the chroma that you were talking about, Roxy, earlier, like the colors matter.
Yeah, you brought me in on it, a couple other people, like, just
right.
get this.
Right. I'm giving not only the vendors, the sellers, incentive to tell everyone about it, but these VIPs are getting sold in mass because of how I was able to market it, and the appearance of urgency. So I guess where I'm trying to tie that in is, if you have a release, you know, a sense of urgency when it comes to get your pre-saves, but at the same time, you can't give them a novel, straight to the point. Let them know, but at the same time, give a little bit of emotional feedback with it. There are so many resources and ideas on Google that you can just look up as far as what content or how I can portray content to help push a subject. You have a release, give me a little smidge, you know, of a line in that release and get me hyped up. That way I can start thinking, okay, this song's about a heartbreak. I just went through one. I'm going to want to hear it, instead of giving me 3 paragraphs of how important it is to you that we pre-save this link and so on, because I don't care. I personally don't. My attention span is also 12 seconds, and I'm not going to act like I am like the perfect child when it comes to that stuff. And I'll say that most musicians are the same way. You know, we do not go out of our way, except for Chad. If you're in this chat, yep, he is.
Chad,
he's the exception. That guy is the support incarnate. But yeah,
he's supporting even when you don't want to be supported. Like, you're like, okay, all right, I love you, bro. All right, good point. You got me. You got me. You
always have to consider that no one is going to help you, and no one is going to hold your hand, and no one is going to take the time to read through something that you care about. So you have to keep it short and concise, and when you meet that person face to face, that's when you unload because they're right in front of you. They have to listen at that point. But on socials, literally, you're gonna, you know, like, it's this fast scrolling through. Nobody cares.
Yep. So your scrolling directive is to keep it at what their attention span is. But then once you get through them with that aspect, you really need to touch an emotional feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So there's levels to everything too, right?
Right. And you can do that in less than 20 words. That's how you have to think. You have to think, how can I get to them as quickly as possible? How do I stab them with, hey, this is important to me, care, you know, in less than 20 words. That way, you know, I can easily be updated with what you have going on, get it in my brain, and at least think of it on an emotional level, but still continue to scroll as I normally would. But I got through your entire statement. I know what you were trying to say. And if what you said was short and concise, you know, my retention is going to be much better than me getting through a couple words and be like, all right, I can't, I'm too busy. I'm on break. I'm just trying to scroll and get lost mentally here, you know, so, which is the majority of us. Chet said I am everyone's demographic.
He did say that.
His beard's like his music support, on point. You can market that for $39.95. Hey, so you pretty much knocked out the what is your competition part of it. I wanted to ask you, you know, you mentioned your socials and stuff. So because I think I could fit hashtags into this before we get into the client's feel, because I feel like the hashtags can even drive a client and how they feel. You know, like there are certain impactful, powerful hashtags that people like to use depending on what it is and what's going on. You can use hashtags to bring attention and identify something, but can you also use hashtags to bring people from on that side of the fence over to this side of the fence?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, depending on what platform, you can actually use hashtags on Facebook. A lot of people don't know that, though it's not well utilized on Facebook as it is with Instagram. But you can still use them. There are programs that will actually allow you, because here's the thing, like right now, I only do the Facebook, and then you got my drummer Matt, who's doing the Instagram. Him and my bassist Seth are doing TikTok. You know, it does kind of suck that it has to be split like that, but at the same time, you can go in, if you don't have that utility, to go in and get these apps that actually allow you to post to all three. And you can technically use hashtags on all three. The only difference is that when you're dealing with video.
Right.
And some other content.
Can you break that down a little bit? Why does it differ with video?
So, for instance, there are caps. So, Facebook, you do not have a video cap as far as like the length, especially on the story. I think the stories will just conjoin. Instagram, I believe it's only 20 seconds. TikTok, I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I do know
max.
they fundamentally are different in many aspects. That, for instance, if I tried to post a 3-minute video on Facebook and also do that on Instagram and TikTok, you're going to run into an issue. But when it comes to just writing something out, like a quick 20-word statement in regards to a release attached with a picture, you can do your words, your picture, your hashtags for every single platform and be solid. You know, so right. So that's just something to consider, and not always have to kind of pigeonhole yourself into where I'm currently at, where I can only really do Facebook, because Facebook is, as much as I hate it, oh my God, do I hate it? I understand it. So that's my area of expertise. But if I could do them all, I definitely would.
I can totally understand that and get with that. And I hope everybody else does understand that the correlations with hashtags or direct targeting with your social media outlets, how to navigate them properly. I hope that you can, you do your research and figure out what's the best way for you. Figure out your own strategy, but utilize the tools that you have presented to you. Utilize that. I can't say anything more than that.
Gamble, sorry, bro. That probably won't work as a hashtag. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
A very smart thing that I wish a lot of more local bands would do is actually take the time to learn how to use Facebook ads, marketing ads, and things of that sort. And this really does tie into branding in regards to marketing. You really need to do demographic test campaigns. For instance, I also help brand develop for Dead Echoes and Times of Desperation. Times of Desperation. I can't talk today. But the first thing I did for both of them is I actually just took $30 both, and I took one piece of media for them, and I started running demographics. I started figuring out and narrowing down, because Spotify, your algorithm, you really have no control of who actually gets a hold of your product. But when it comes to Facebook marketing, why is Adobe calling me? When it comes to Facebook marketing, you can actually pinpoint who your demographic is. That way, when you actually start running ads, you're not wasting money. For instance, the most recent ad that I was running for TORG Gaming Expo, I was only getting about 1% anyone under 22 years. And I was only getting 1% anyone 56 years and above, and found out that our actual demographic, our highest, is from 26 to 44. And that is my narrow. So now when I actually go to run my targeted ads to help build my brand, I know exactly who to target to get my most money and get my lowest cost per click down. And a lot of that, there is a very weird science behind it, and you really have to take the time to learn it. If you want to grow your band page, you want to get your numbers, because I'll tell you, the labels, if that's your goal, even though they're becoming increasingly irrelevant, your social count, your Spotify playlist, your marketing campaigns, how you're handling your socials, your branding is everything to them. So if you want to be successful, in a sense that you want to get signed, you want to make music a profession without just being like a cover band that plays, for music, of which they do, that's a profession as well, then you have to take the proper steps and learn these tools. Marketing, branding is absolutely pivotal.
That's the one thing I want to address to everybody tonight, is that after COVID, after all these things that have happened, the bands are in control now. With that being said, you have to be the one to learn and pivot and change and alter what your directive is. Also, one more thing I want to point out is your Facebook ads. If you see an ad in your notification saying promote this certain link, you get free $10 to promote that. That's not what you want. Don't go to that. You need to figure out your own strategy on your own terms.
Yeah.
That is somebody just trying to steal your money. So figure it out on your own and do your research. Come to professionals or listen to RA Nation. We're here to help.
Yeah, boosting a post most time does not work.
It's truth.
You need to go into Creator Studio on Facebook, create an ad, and then go over to your marketing and ad portion of Facebook and strategically plan out where you want this ad to deliver, how you want it to deliver, what exactly you want it to say, and your demographic that you've already pinpointed. You want to make sure you get the most money out of it. Most musicians are broke.
And if you don't understand it, go to somebody who does, or you reach out to people. We're here to help.
Skillshare is on sale all the time. Get yourself a year-long thing of Skillshare and go in and learn. Take about 5 to 10 minutes per day. Most of these are short classes. They will literally walk you through. That's how I learned a lot of my stuff very quickly. They will walk you through the process on how to actually start your demographic ad campaigns and help build your content ads and dealing with your creatives and building creative ads specifically for stories, specifically for Instagram, Instagram TV. Not one ad creative will work for all three platforms. And as soon as you know that, it's like, you'll end up growing, but you also have to take the time and spend the money to make sure that you have professional ad creatives. You need professional photography, promos. You really, really, really cannot skimp on your studio. It doesn't matter how talented you are, if your mix is just terrible, I can't make it through your track. So you have to consider that when most people, if it's not radio quality, they don't care. They won't care for your brand. They won't care how you guys look like, act, how your personality is. They won't buy your merch if they can't get past that mix that you did yourself without really knowing or learning the process.
It's a collaboration of everything.
Right. Listen, I'll DIY. I'll tell everybody, you know, DIY as much as you can, but there are certain things I absolutely do not promote DIY with, and that is photography and studio. Go to a professional. That you need an outside. And don't get me wrong, like you have, for instance, you have bands like Dread Engine that do them themselves as well, and they do a phenomenal job. But I'll tell you, most of the time, you need an outside source that can be like, hey, bud, that doesn't sound good. Or, hey, bud, try this. Or, hey, this will actually sound pretty cool if I do this. And when they actually take the time to make your rendition of what it sounds like in your head come to fruition, that's their job. That's everything they've went to schooling for. They've put 10 plus years into. And if you don't have the right equipment, and you're talking like 10, 20 grand worth of equipment, you're not going to set your band up for success DIYing your own sound. It's not worth it. Pay the $5 or grand for a single and do it right. Get your release strategy, get your ad campaigns going, get your creatives planned, get your promo, go on Submit Hub and submit that stuff to editorials and do it the right way. You know, care about your brand, treat it as a business, and that's how you'll be successful, or at least that's how you'll get on the path of being successful. And if you're doing everything you possibly can, then you are successful, despite anything that may happen, or even if you never make it, you're still growing as a person, you're growing your brand, and there's more people that will be positively affected by what you're doing than if you didn't care to take the time.
That's the truth of it. You have to treat it like it's a business, because anyone who's out there selling jewelry or cosmetics or whatever they might be selling, you're selling your product, which is your music. So you have to turn it into a business. Learn everything you can, right?
Yeah. Also keep in mind, though, that you're going to have to revisit these things.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just going to put them on auto and go. Like, it's something that you're going to have to, like, come back and revisit, you know, like, and I think, you know, Mike's right. If you really need to focus on who and what, the 5 W's, really, like, before any of the other stuff can apply, you know. And it's a running joke in the local community here. Like, if I can look at your page and the band members that are in your about are not the band members standing on stage, you're probably not going to get any support. Probably not going to get any acknowledgement. You know?
Listen, I've come to realize, too, that I don't think people, and granted, like, I don't know if I'm in the majority or the minority when it comes to this, but I typically actually don't care who's in a band.
Right.
Because, like, when I go, that's why you'll see, too, less and less bands actually listing who's in their band, because of, one, band members are like a revolving door, you know, like literally in and out, in and out. Life happens, conflict happens. Like, my band is absolutely not like free from it. We have had member changes out the wazoo, and I'm okay with that, because it is a business, and at any point that someone is obstructing your business or hindering your progress, I go, you know, as much as they're a friend or whatever, my goal is to be successful.
Yep.
So that's why, like, I think you'll see a lot of the time the about typically just is a personal statement that the band should give in regards to, this is what our music is about. And then that's followed by their personality that is presented on their Facebook page. But that's just me personally. But I mean, I when I listen to a band, I listen to the music and how that affects me. I personally don't care who's in there unless they're my friends. But at the same time, like, for instance, look at Chad. Chad's a great dude, you know. But at the same time, like, before I actually got to know Chad through like mutual support and stuff like that. I had no idea who was in his band. Other bands, I have no idea who's in their band because I really just cared about the music and what message they were trying to get through, and everything else came after. If I came to actually see your band because I enjoyed the music or the message that you're coming, then that's just a natural thing that happens, that you and I become friends. Then I start caring.
Right.
But at a face level, you know, like, it doesn't affect me positive or negative who you are on your Facebook page. So it is not something that I ever give 2 cents to.
Right.
But I will give 2 cents to on how you're posting and what you're posting.
Yeah.
So if you are going to use that about section, make it something that matters. And who is who, I don't think really matters.
Exactly.
People don't go to see Mike Colletti and Atimera. They go to see Atimera.
Right.
They go to hear our music, you know. So
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way.
I guess we're all in a minority together. I agree. Like
There it is.
because I agree with that statement, you know, but I can't tell you, like, you know, doing media and stuff like that, man. Like, I see a lot of people think, like, you know, dude, you're the videographer, you know, like, you're standing off doing your thing. And, you know, you hear the fans, you hear crowds, you hear conversations, you hear the talk, and you just put that in a notepad, put it in your pocket, like, all right, cool, I'm going to go back to work. And then I'm going to come back to this when I get home because this is important, you know. It's just the fan feedback that you don't typically hear, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to try to kind of round out the show tonight. And I did have a comment that I would like you to address on. And something I kind of brought up with this one. So he says, Gomek says, so if I make flyers and other things, is red bad? Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. Those colors and those emotions that tie together. This goes with the branding objective. So what is your key point on branding and colors, Mike?
Listen, I feel like this needs to be said. I made a status about it a while ago. If your band ever gets put on a show and the flyer looks like it was done in Microsoft Paint, hit me up and I'll redo it for free, because it's not fair to you and your brand. It's not fair to the promoters putting it on or the venue. It's not fair, because
So
I'll tell you,
more than one, right? More than one person.
If this flyer looks like it was angrily thrown together, and even the thing is that there are some individuals that do these flyers and have the best intentions, but they don't know what they're doing. They're not a graphic designer, and it's either too hard to read. So going to the colors, for instance, I mean, if you're having black text on red background, you know, it's not a good mix. Nobody can see that. Nobody can understand it, and if I can't understand it, I'm going to assume that the flyer looks like crap, the show's going to be crap. That's me as a consumer, and I think that's a lot of people. And the most of the time that you see where a flyer looks like crap, then your turnout a lot of the times won't be as good as the individuals that take the time to either hire a graphic artist or know what they're doing to make an actual flyer that makes sense. It looks good, it's clean, it's to the point, it has all of the information, but it's also visually, it grabs your attention and it makes you pay attention to who the bands are, and you will actually go through the process to look up who they are and potentially attend. Whereas if you see something that's just like a blurb, like, you know, when you take cereal and macaroni and cheese and just throw it into a bowl, you know, and you get like some of these flyers, I know there's a lot of people who feel the same way. We want nothing to do with it. So if you are a promoter or if you're a venue and you're doing your own flyers and they're not up to par, please, 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 please either get really good really fast or spend $20 and
Utilize
hire someone.
resources.
Yes, because, and that's okay if you don't know how to do it. I understand wanting to save money, but I promise you, having a better product that is more visually appealing will get more people in the door and make you more money. You will make that $20 to $30, $50 back, I promise you. And the difference of individuals that will see that and understand that, hey, they took the time to make sure that these bands are represented best, the venue is represented best, the gate and the whole process is represented best by hiring a professional to make sure that they brought the best out of their vision in regards to that. I mean, so that is super important, and I hate seeing bad flyers. I hate seeing bands get put on bad flyers. And I'm mad at musicians for not saying, hey, redo this. Know your worth. I mean, don't be a dick about it, but know your worth. Any show that Atimera has ever been on that has a bad flyer, I've redone. I've always redone, and I've sent it back to them, and I said, you can promote this, because it needs to be the best it can be, or at least better than.
It's not just one band. It's not just one band that suffers in that situation. You know, I feel like that's what a lot of people forget. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there is no positive thing that comes out of a bad flyer. Not a single thing. Especially if it looks bad. It's not even something you can hang on your wall and be like, yeah, this is sweet looking, because it's not.
So it's like in comparison to My Pillow on your late night infomercials as compared to your daily Neutrogena or something crazy ad that you're going to see every day on your TV. That's the difference, is the targeting that you're trying to reach and the people that you bring in to help make that more successful. So like he said, like Mike said, don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask for a little bit of help and guidance, because it is your brand, your customization, and you have to make it how you want it to be in this industry. And the thing about the change in the world today is bands are on their own these days. So you got to really do the legwork. You really do.
Can I say one thing real quick? One thing that has really got me as far as I am, and even people can look at me and not say I'm not successful, you know, but like in my sense, I've come a very long way, and I've only been able to do this because I've surrounded myself by the right people.
Yeah.
If it comes to a process, I am not a good writer. I surround myself with a good writer. I am not a good front of house person. I colluded with myself a good front of house person in regards to, say, for instance, Antman with you. You know, you have a podcast. You are a network guy. You are a communications guy. I am not. I network with you. I surround myself with you and people like you. Literally everything I have my hand in. New Age Connect is comprised of 8 people that all have differentiated talents that I cannot fill. So I surround myself with people who are successful in their avenues. And it helps not only push myself up, but it pushes them up as well. And I make myself essential to where I cannot easily be replaced. And that is something that even within your band, your brand, your business, you should not be able to easily be replaced. If you are, then you're not contributing.
Absolutely. So, oh, by the way,
people that matter.
Use keyword Antman on
the
website, by the way. Yeah, if you guys go over to the TORG website, make sure you guys use keyword Antman right there for the expo coming up.
TORG events, torgevents.com, and when you go to checkout, it'll ask for a little promo code. You can use Antman, and you'll get 10% off, and he gains $2 for every purchase you guys make. Listen, I've given him incentive.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't know you make money? Yeah, you make money, man. Listen, I need as many people as I can at this convention, and this is another way I thought that I can help get it pushed. So I gave you the incentive to help push it, because you make money and our consumers save 10%. It's a win-win, right? Well, I get people in the door. You make money.
I was just pushing it because I mean, you know, if you give me something, I'm gonna throw it. Like, you know, like, so I didn't even think about that. I guess that's part of my thing. Like, I don't think about that. I'm just like, cool, he needs my help. Let's do it. Keyword Antman, go.
It's okay. I'm a firm believer in altruism. All right. So like, it's okay to not do something if it doesn't benefit you. If you get offered a shitty show, don't play it for the sake of playing it. Know your worth, and if it does not benefit you to do something, do not do it. If it does, do not play to a crowd of 12 people. That's your typical crowd. Do not do it. It is not worth it for you. You're not going to make the money. You're going to lose money. You're going to get discouraged at the turnout. Be selective in the shows that you do. If there is no opportunities in your area, create opportunity. And if there is nothing in which you can create, then start looking outside of your city and engage with individuals that are in the promotion agency and start networking and get your face, your brand in front of the right people, and 1, 2, 3 succeed, or whatever they say.
I'm gonna leave you guys with this, man. Professional is not a label you give yourself. It's a description you hope others apply to you.
Hey.
Oh, boom. Think about that. That's the nugget we're going to leave with everybody tonight.
Thank you, Mike, so much, man, for coming and hanging out with us this week. I appreciate you, sir.
For sure.
Mike, so much.
Invite me back anytime.
Check you out.
I'm pimping New Age out, by the way. I got a bunch of bands that's coming. They're probably going to be hitting you up here pretty soon.
Yeah, hit me up if you guys need graphic work done, or if you're on a shitty flyer, hit me up.
Hashtag
video.
Hashtag shitty
TORG
flyer.
Gaming. TORG Gaming Expo. Check it out.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is flash all your links here. You can find you on Facebook. Oh my Colletti.
That's Knack.
Promotions, and then
that's my videography thing.
The Real Friends Media.
We do music videos.
That's my band. Official. And then what's the last thing?
TORG Events
with Antman.
Yeah.
All right.
Only 49 VIP left. Grab yours quick.
Get that PS5, Mo.
PS5.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be kicking it. So everybody get in and get involved.
The headline on Facebook: Ant-Man stole the PS5. No.
we just added a Switch Lite, a Pokemon One, PS4, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool stuff. Check it out.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate you being here on RA Nation with your feedback and all the information that you had to share with everybody and all the audience. So take care. I hope everybody looks out for Mike and all the things he's got going on.
I love you, Atimera.
Attaboy Mara. See you guys.
Yeah. Shit. Oh, man. What a killer night tonight.
Oh, my gosh. Such great information.
I love my job. I
know. I think there are so many aspects for people to walk away with some new informative, like something that they can use and utilize. I loved it. Tonight was great.
It's pretty awesome, man. Thank you, Dale, by the way, for that awesome comment. I see you. I
This
would like to
comment
say that
meant
this
a lot.
show tonight was incredibly informative, and I'm so glad I tuned in. Thanks a lot, Mike, for all your insight.
That was great. I love that.
That's what I love. That's what I love, man. And yes, Gamal, you can send that stuff over there. Definitely reach out. But all right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I am Ant-Man.
And I am Roxy. And make sure you find us on the Facebook group, RA Nation Podcast Group. You can find Ant-Man at Music Familia Productions. Make sure you go like, subscribe, and share on his YouTube
Versus
channel.
is over. Yeah. You won't see my Ant-Man Versus show anymore on Thursdays. I'm here on Mondays now. So,
but we're still growing. Doesn't mean
we're growing and showing.
We are so growing and showing. Wait,
and we like the tips.
Oh goodness. I might admit that we need a viewer discretion advised.
All right, I'll get one.
Horns.
See you guys. Have a good night, man.
Thank you. We'll see you next week. We got a great show next week because the owner of TORG Media and W4CY Radio is going to be on with us next week. So I am so grateful for that because he's got a lot of insight. He's got a lot of informative information for you, and he's great humored guy. You're all gonna love him. I love him. You're gonna love him. So
Oh, I can't wait.
so tune in next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be here on W4CY Radio, Talk 4 TV, and Music Familia Productions.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do it. This
Do
is
it.
Roxy,
Hey, man.
and we are signing out. Later, y'all.